So hello friends, welcome to this step-by-step Python tutorial for beginners. In this part we are going to discuss about importing some modules and in particular math module. So if you will go to your Python installation page or the folder in which your Python is installed. So in that folder you will see some folders here. So libs folder, lib folder, and this lib folder has some libraries here. You can see http library, json, sqlite, tkinter. There are various libraries here. So whenever you install Python, some libraries will be installed with the installation of Python, and using idle you can access them. So for example, when you have installed Anaconda, so various libraries like matplotlib, pandas, sklearn, etc. are installed with Anaconda, and obviously these default libraries like math, sqlite 3 and libraries like tkinter, so these libraries are installed with you can say idle. So and if these libraries are installed, so we don't have to install them, but we can import them. So if any particular library is already present in your Python package, so you can import that library. You have to simply write import, and then you have to write the name of that library. So the name of math library is math, and you can import it. And now when you have imported this library, so you can access the data inside this library, and you can access the methods inside this library. So in this library, value of some constants are also stored, and we can access those values and we can use them in our operations. So for example, if without support of any library, if I print pi here, so I will receive an error that pi is not defined. But since we have installed the math library, what we can do is we can access math.py. Now value of pi will be presented because this value is stored in the math library, and hence we can access it. We can also write math.e. This e is Euler's number, which is used in logarithmic calculations as a base, and this value is also stored in this math library. So this is one work of a library. You can store various values, you can store data there, and then after importing those libraries, these libraries are also class, you can say. So after importing those libraries, you can access the data that is there inside that library. You can also access the methods that are there in that particular library. So python.org has a documentation, and official documentation is there on this website, from where you can go to this mathematical functions page, and from there you can from there you can download or save this particular file, or you can view online as well. So you will get a list of all the methods that are there in this math library. So first we will discuss number theoretic and representation functions. So first method is dot ceil. I have also saved that data here in my Word file. So first method that we are going to discuss is ceil method, and it returns the ceiling of x. So for example, if I write math.ceil and I write 4.6 here, so 4.6 is a float value, and you will see ceil. That means it will give output with the next integer value. So next integer value after 4, and in technical words, return the ceiling of x. That means the smallest integer greater than or equal to x. If x is not a float, so it delegates to x. So ceil returns integral values. So because we have entered 4.6, so the integer part here is 4 and the next integer after 4 is 6. So just like ceil, there is floor also, and floor returns the integer of any particular float value. So if you will enter float value, you will get its integer. So in case of floor also, what we are doing is we are getting return the floor of x. That means the largest integer that is less than or equal to x. If x is not a float, it delegates to x. So this is the work of ceil. Next we have this copy sign method. Copy sign method returns a float with magnitude of x but sign of y. So let me write a number here. So math dot, and I can wait for few seconds and idle will give me some suggestions. So for example, I have written -4, 6. So magnitude of x, that is 4, and sign of y. So you will get 4, but this method returns the float value. That's why we are getting 4.0. So this is the work of copy sign method. Then we have FABS methods, which returns the absolute value of x. So I can write math.fabs, and let me write 45. So I am getting the absolute value of that particular number. Remember, the absolute value of any number is never negative. So for example, math.fabs, I am writing -45.56. So you will get 45.56. So this is the work of FABS method. It returns the absolute value, or you can see it always returns a positive value. Next in math library we have factorial. So it will return the factorial of any particular number. So if I will write 7, so it will give me product of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. So product of this number with numbers that are less than this number one by one, it will multiply them and numbers up to 1. So it will give me 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So that is the work of factorial. So this method returns factorial of any particular number. Now next we have already discussed floor. Next number is next method is fmod. Some methods are taking one argument, you can see here. In some methods they are taking one argument. This pi here and this e here is not method, so we have not used parenthesis or round brackets in front of it. This is simple data. So this pi here is a variable that belongs to math library, and to access the value of that variable, to access the value that is assigned to that variable, we have to write math.py. We have to write the name of library first. But here in this method, you can see this method takes two arguments because it has to copy the sign of y and magnitude of x. So and the next method that we are discussing here is fmod method, and this method also uses x and y as parameters. So it returns the mod of x and y, and in simpler words it computes the remainder of division. So let me write here math dot fmod, and here we can write, let me 22 and 7. So you can see if you will divide 22 by 7, the quotient will be 3 and remainder will be 1. So this is the work of fmod method. There is an operator in Python. That operator is this percent sign, which is also used for getting mod. So getting mod of a and b. So next method in Python math module is this frexp method. So this method is actually used to calculate the mantissa and exponent of any particular number. So in decimal, very large numbers can be shown with mantissa and exponent value. So you might have seen in calculators also, if your calculated value is very large, so you will see that in mantissa and exponent form you can say. So for example, if a number is written as 0.12 into 10 to the power 2, so here 0.12 is the mantissa and 10 to the power 2 is the exponent. So return the mantissa and exponent of x as a pair of m and e. So then the final value of x will be m multiplied by 2 raised to the power of e. So let us go ahead and calculate some values here. So math dot frexp, and let us calculate the value of 3. So you will get answer here 0.75 and 2, and so you can take this as 0.75 multiplied by 2 raised to the power of 2. So this is the formula. So in this case 2 raised to the power 2 is 4, and 4 into 0.75. So if you will solve this equation, so 2, and you can create exponent this way, so this will be 3. So this is how this frexp is used to calculate the mantissa and exponent of any particular number. We can also write, let's say, math dot frexp, a very large number here. So again you can use this particular formula to calculate the value, and you can get the formula from this document here or from the official Python org page of math module. Next is this .fsum method. In fsum method you are seeing iterable here. So iterable in Python basically means some iterable element like list, tuple or set. So return an accurate floating point sum of value in the iterable. So you can see floating point sum of values. So we were discussing fsum, and I have an example here. So this is a list, and in this list you can see there are these elements, and we have already discussed about this inbuilt function of Python, which is called sum. So when you will use sum on this list, so you will get this output 0.999 and so on. But the work of this fsum method is, again in this fsum method we cannot write fsum method directly because it's a method of math class. So you have to write math.fsum. It returns the accurate sum of these numbers. So you will now get an accurate sum which is approximately equal to 1. So actually this is the accurate sum and this is the approximate sum value. So this is the work of this fsum method. Next method after fsum method in the math library is GCD method. GCD stands for greatest common divisor. So it returns the greatest common divisor of the integers a and b. So again this particular method will also take two parameters. So let me write math.gcd, and in GCD let me write 12 and 18. So what is the greatest common divisor of 12 and 18? Answer is 6. So this is the work of this GCD method. Then next method is close method. This returns a true output if the values a and b are close to each other, and otherwise it returns a false output. So here we have to, again we can add these parameters. So to understand it, let me write a comma, instead of a comma v, let me write 1.99997 and 1.99998. So now you can see it is returning a false output here. So you can see even as per our calculation it can be a close value, but it is returning false. But there are some other parameters also. That means rel underscore tol, that means is the relative tolerance. It is the maximum allowed difference between a and b. Other one is abs underscore tol, is the minimum absolute tolerance. So let us consider one example with this parameter here, and in this case I will write 2.005 with, first I will write it without the other parameter. So we will see output is false. But if I include this that is close here, so in this method if I will include this third parameter absolute tolerance, then this value will become true because now the difference is covered. So this is how this is close method works.